Hello one and all, this is So Hellcat. Welcome back for another episode of Monster Hunter World. It's going to kind of be my first time doing it. I'll be doing a breakdown video of currently showing off the Rotten Vale trailer. And I'm not going to do it myself because I'm an idiot. I'll be joined by Brother Virtue again. We're going to kind of work through the trailer, kind of like pausing as we go along, and just kind of break down slowly as it's going on. Okay, starting off, you know, we see the scene here of him looking menacingly towards the Bone Oregon, which I'll pause right now. This guy... really cool. What's his name? Because you get his name from the last night scouring through the archives of the Monster Hunter Twitter page, and I was showing off the names. What's his name?
Garosu, or Dosa Garosu for the little ones. Gillos.
So he's kind of like a dog snake thing. That's what I'm thinking. Cause, well, it's clearly like, you know, the fangs there, that sort of stuff there. He's killed the light bulb.
Yaku,
man. What's he? Oh man. So I'm assuming it seems like the
Coral Highlands
and the Rotten Vale are kind of connected in a way, because these guys seem like they originate from that area.
Looks like a canyon situation where, like, at the bottom, that's where all the rot and death and predators are waiting.
It's I love this guy. He's really cool. Such a cool monster. And then, of course, you got yourselves this guy. Holy crap. This guy. Holy crap. Again, I'm going to give you the name.
Odogaran.
Yeah, there you go. He's just creepy. The fact is, in the trailer, we're going to continue watching on straight away. He squares up to a lot of monsters.
He's definitely a super predator, kind of like a Nergiante. In any other equation, this monster trumps this monster, but it seems like whenever he's around, he's the winning force.
I don't think we're gonna get much returning monsters actually, seeing they've actually shown off now this new area here. I mean, there might be tons more areas, but I'm hoping for.
It's almost like they're taking a different strategy to it, where they're stripping the base code of the Monster Hunter we've known up to this point, and they're like putting a new fresh paint of coat, you know, on it, basically pimping out your monsters. Because Dryatotus from the Wasteland Spire, and now this Radobaan, the Uragan species, it's like they're taking monsters we're familiar with, but they're giving them something completely new, and it's more dynamic to their environment.
I was thinking about the Uragan actually, the Bone Uragan. I was thinking in my head, is that a variant? Is it actually going to be a normal Uragan? But in this area, there's going to be a Bone Oregon.
Well, I mean, leading up to Nintendo, it was all about subspecies, and then late game Nintendo, it was subspecies no longer exist and it's deviants. So I mean, I really don't know what strategy on paraphrasing or wording that they're going to apply to it, but I mean, it's basically things that we're familiar with.
It's gonna be one of them cases we'll find out when the game launches.
Right.
Definitely. And there, okay, here comes the title screen. I'm kind of going very, very slow frame by frame, guys, just so we can actually talk about it and pause it, you know, so we are not going to miss out so much. Honestly, this straight away, the area here, let's just straight away, just eerie and creepy. Like I said, as you said earlier, it's kind of like the cavern of probably like the Coral Highlands, or like maybe connected to it in a way, because like, as I spoke in our previous video, all the areas are connected somehow. So this might be connected to, like I said, the Coral Highlands, because like in the previous, in this trailer, you see a lot of them take down some of the monsters who actually live in this area. And because that's what they show off. They show off the Coral Highland area and this area together, so they have to be connected.
Well, at the beginning of the video, you see something fall down into this pit of death, like this graveyard, so to speak. For me, I feel like with what they're doing with Monster Hunter World is they're revisiting old areas that have been existing in Monster Hunter, and they're really giving it like the full one over or twice over. The Primal Forest that started off in the 4th generation, I think I sent you some pictures. There was like a big giant rib cage and bones of a snake. And it seemed like there was death, but obviously being on a handheld device, they're very limited on how they can portray that. And I feel like this is that, but it's so much more than what we would have imagined. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, agreed. But
just due to technology,
as well, looking at how this is, right? They've definitely made this game a lot more mature now. I've seen that the game has aged with us. Like, look how creepy this is straight away. Boom, bones all over the place. Creepy monster eating whatever has, you know, he's killed or fallen down or anything like that.
Scavenging
all the bones behind him as well. It just looks gross. Really, really gross. And
it's an intimidating atmosphere. I guess I was reading through some Japanese and German articles, and they're calling it the Valley of Miasma. So when I first saw the trailer myself, I thought that the environment seemed toxic, almost like those extremes where the volcano, you're burning.
Look at that. It's like toxic gases all around. And like I said, I saw one
decomposing.
Exactly, and look at that. I think you mentioned beforehand in one of your tweets that you could shoot these things and probably use like toxic gases, like kind of in the area. Like you said, boom, there you go, boof. Like well. No. Actually, I'm assuming that he's actually using a firebomb and it's probably doing something to like trigger what's going on in the atmosphere or something, maybe, or it is like a toxic bomb or something.
Yeah, from Eric's video, I hate name dropping, but Eric's, he was saying that he thought that he was activating this effect in this area, and from my visual standpoint, I feel like he's deactivating the area. So you'd use like fire to kind of burn out that corrosion in the area, so that maybe it's more habitable for the hunter. It could be both.
Like when you kind of walk through the swamp in previous Monster Hunters, where like you walk through a poison and you get poisoned.
Right.
Maybe the air's poison, and you have to stay there too long.
Exactly.
You get poisoned, so you get rid of the gases, and that's it. You're not poisoned. That area's fine now for a bit until, like, of course, you leave and something happens again.
Well, going back to like the volcano tundra arguments, where it's like certain areas of the volcano are safe and habitable, but then you get to other areas and you're burning alive. Whereas in the tundra, certain areas you're okay, and then other areas you're losing stamina. It kind of seems like there's areas of decomposition and skeletons and bones and dying things where maybe you can hide in your environment, use your environment, but it definitely seems like there's other areas where it's like maybe less aerated, and like that is a toxic environment to fight in for the player.
Oh, hands down, yeah. And this guy, yeah, definitely, hands down, without a doubt, this is Oregon. I know I saw a picture of him, and it's just how his body looks. And like I said previously, before we actually started,
it's very menacing in comparisons to how kind of goofy the character originally was.
What happened to him? What happened to Uragan? I mean, did he travel to the new world just to be a part of the game? The travel turned him into this like edgy, bona fide monster now. But
like slipped into like this heavy metal dimension and popped out.
I did see one of your tweets earlier as well, mentioning that the armor you're wearing, this is actually a gunner armor. Beforehand,
the helmet is a gunner style. The body is a classic Hornitar armor, which is the component bug to the Vespoid. The Vespoid would fly and paralyze. The Hornitar would amass as a crowd and lock you up in your movements. So it definitely seems like it's an insect take or a new, like a fresh version of an old gear. So that means that obviously that smaller monster would be present in the wildlife.
Just taken in this area, just how creepy it is. Holy, just bones all over the place.
We also have the scattered vines up ahead, and it kind of reminds me of almost kind of like really like stitched webbing. So maybe we could see like arachnids, the Neopteron species of creatures come back. That's my beliefs. Is I think there could potentially be like bug monsters returning, which would be cool. I mean, they've always had really interesting designs.
Man, I really do like Narcilla. She's a great addition to Monster Hunter. Okay.
I did read a small German article.
I wanted your opinion on this because this is your favorite.
That's a Legiana.
That's a Legiana, and Legiana at the minute, like I said, is your favorite monster they've shown off.
I want to know: can we carve the carcasses for extra parts? Is this a cheap way of getting resources? I mean,
is it dead?
Can I scavenge off of the scavenger's meal?
But is this guy dead though? Is this like a pinning animation or something like that brings it to the ground?
I definitely think that it's dead. I don't think that it's alive at all.
So do monsters bring back dead monsters to the pit, or only him? Because
so far what we've seen with that food chain mechanic we were discussing before, where it's like they fight each other, and obviously there's always going to be an alpha to a beta, or a lesser monster. In this situation, it seems like they've completely changed that and like flipped it upside down, and they're like, okay, no, everything down here like is owned by these things, and everything that you see that came from somewhere else, it's dead. And
Poor thing,
you just
Poor
you're just
thing.
witnessing murder.
Definitely
That's that monster Virtue likes.
That is Legiana, and I think they gave the hint away because literally after this they show off Legiana.
They show Legiana.
Like there he is. That is definitely Legiana getting dragged away into the pits of hell. It is that airship.
It is like a trend. Oh yeah, I did see the airship, and I'm wondering when that comes into play. Like, is that going to be like the ballooners that you can use to identify monsters, or is that like an actual visual representation of like you left Astera and now you're in the Coral Highlands and this is your new transit via whatever progression or late game stage you are?
Oh, so I've just noticed that he's caught one of the little floof bats. The baby one is in its mouth. It's like, okay.
Oh,
yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's on his hand there. Oh, he's such a cool monster, man. Sorry, Legiana. Yeah, pushing on. Here we go. This guy, again, just eating away like in the last thing. But yeah, look at that. It definitely... He has little snakes around, little drone snakes. And then, of course, you have the main one. Is he going to be like a drone out of the pack or whatever?
Now, from what I've noticed in the footage, it'll show up a little bit, like in maybe a minute or so. But roughly, what's happening is that it's making noises or like commands, and the other monsters are engaging the hunter. So, whereas in the Jagras kind of had a situation where there's like a pack of things and they all kind of work together, but it's maybe like sound by numbers. In this situation, it's like actual direct commands, like attack, defend, distract kind of thing.
Just menace. I had to pause here just how menacing this monster is.
It's a great picture. The Garons have been around for a while in like the Frontier series. They're basically like the wolf dog fanged wyverns of the series.
That's just a devil, man. That's not a devil. That's not a wolf. That's just a devil. He's got no fur or anything.
He's got no skin.
It's just flesh. And like in the last clip before, he sort of kind of put his claw down, and he has extra claws that appear on top of him. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of like claws or something. Well, I need to go back a little bit quickly. Where is it? About here, I believe it is. Look at that. Shink! Look at that. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
4,
they spread
5,
out.
6, 7, 8, 9. Of course, there's 2 more on the top there. Holy!
That's probably like one on the back as well, holding in place.
Oh my god, that is something out of hell. That is Jesus. No, really cool design, and also very clever that Capcom released it like just before Halloween. Very clever of them. I know they did that on purpose, but you know, still very cool.
A scary zone timed well with a month.
I've noticed here as well when the Uragan does his chin slam on the floor, bits of bone fly everywhere. So that's probably something.
Well, there's also a shockwave in the ground too.
Look at that! Look at that go over his head. Woof, like that. Woof. 1, 2 bits of bones from the Uragan going right over his head. So I'm assuming that if you do get hit by that, that's going to do some damage.
Potentially, I would think so.
Of course, the shockwave as well, the tremor as well. I'm assuming when he goes back underground, I'm assuming if he keeps on banging, the bones will eventually disappear. But when he goes, like, you know, leaves the area or digs,
well, from that German article that was presented, they were talking about, so the normal Uragan rolls around and builds up momentum and then does its slam.
Yeah.
This Uragan seems to be like covered in like a tar or like some sort of like death paste, basically. And as it rolls around, it accumulates more bones on its body. That's what people are saying, and that seems like the logical.
No, that does make sense actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were saying that like you'd want to break them off to. It's almost kind of like in comparisons of a Nergiante fight where
maybe and like kind of like a Barioth as well. Barioth again, you know, when he
the more defense it acquires
rolls around in mud, but this is more of like a getting rid of the defense. This is getting rid of the offense, like getting rid of the damage dealing. You know, because yeah, here's a massive shockwave, and then of course you've got the 2 massive bits of bone flying right over your head. The bit of shrapnel, and then that's when he gets hit by the tremor as well. So just look at the design. At first, I knew that wasn't, and just how they look at him as well, but like, it's very hard to tell that's an Uragan. But looking straight away, you can see his eye right here, little goofy little grin here. Stupid.
People were saying those are Diablos horns, like on its shoulders, which they almost look like Nergiante horns, the way that they're curved.
Maybe, yeah. But
so
tons of bones. It's a. Really,
I had initially. Go on.
It's just a really interesting design from just a normal-looking Uragan, from literally just a bronze-looking thing. Heck, even like you know the variants from like the Crimson. He fits really well in that sort of look. He looks really
it definitely
good.
fits the environment.
Here we go. Oh, this is the command thing you're on about. Whoa! Okay. Yeah, they're jumping. His command that you said, his days two are jumping right towards the hunter.
Yeah, where like the Doggrass seems like it's like either it's interested in you or it's not interested in you. It's either fighting you or it's not fighting you. This thing seems like it's using its own minions against you.
Yep. Oh, this is the... what armor set is she wearing there? I can't really see from that. No, I can't see what it is. I thought in my head it was... just looking at it, it looked like...
That's definitely like a Vespoid gear right there with that guy with the great sword.
The one previous, it kind of looked like Nagakuga set, but this guy's going to get pounded by the big flesh wolf thing. That's a terrifying move. Just slash. Taking
it definitely seems like they're paying a lot more attention to the anatomy of not only just the environment and like its ecosystem, but also like the monsters themselves. So with that Odogaron, it seems like if it's something that is a super predator and is constantly eating these smaller things and just feeding off of flesh or rotting flesh, like then it wouldn't have much itself. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's infested or sickly.
Here's Legion.
It's zombie culture in Monster Hunter.
Boosh. Oh wow, like all these cute feathers go everywhere when he hits you.
And then it frosts the ground.
Oh, here we go. These two fighting again, the Floof Bat and Legiana. Just, you know.
I do think if we get any more trailers from this point to launch, the trailers have been following a trend where like the first trailer, like you saw the ancient forest, and then the Wildspire trailer, it showed monsters in the ancient forest, but it also showed off the new zone. Yeah. And with the Coral Highlands, it kind of did the same. So being that this is the new zone, we get a recap of the Coral Highlands. So I mean, like if there was to be another zone footage release before,
it kind of looks like Coral Highlands because this kind of like in a way it looks like kind of like really old.
A couple scenes ago, when it was like blue in the background, you could see like the moss and kind of like decaying coral on the walls and stuff as well. This fight's
really cool because it seems like this massive flesh wolf is the alpha predator to even the Uragan. Because he dodged both his hits and now he's jumping on his head to chew him. So that's pretty interesting to see there as well. Like, this guy is just top-notch predator in this area. He is big boy.
Just kills everything.
Eats everything. Look at that. He's literally about... Look at that. That's the Uragan's head literally in the ground there. There's his claws. He's quite happily just like, about to take...
Well, it's almost like the first set of claws is like actually embedded in its neck. And the second set of claws are just holding it down. You know what I mean? Like kind of like dual purpose.
Damn, poor Uragan. Next clip. And I think we're coming up to the multiplayer now, I believe. Nope, okay, no. Oh, yeah. What I mentioned earlier. Poor Floofbat, like I mentioned, doesn't get a break. Look at that. It literally slam dunks the poor thing. And then, like, as a typical dog does when they want to tear something to pieces, they start shaking it. Look at that. Poor thing. Just gets shaken around like a bag of this... mango pulp. Jesus Christ. Okay, now we're going for the multi.
And then it pops and it flies away, and then you sling her to it like we were talking about. Go for a ride.
Whoa! Look at these things. These massive. I've not near these before.
No, we've talked about those before. Those are the ones from the ancient forest.
Yeah,
they're the wing drakes. Those are rides.
These are a lot bigger, man. These are huge. Unless we like zoomed in quite close, but these seem pretty big to normal wind drakes. Like how their mouth...
Perspective. I think that they're the Windrakes.
They look a bit more epic. These ones look like old.
A better angle on them.
Yeah, definitely. But no, this is definitely sort of the online hub. It seems straight away, like because it showed off. Here's the bar.
If you go back a little bit to where it showed them and just like pause it, like freeze frame it.
Oh damn.
So from what I've seen, this is the boat that's at the highest point of Astera. I sent you a picture of it. So the early footage of Astera, you see the village down below, and you see like a shipwreck up at the top of the village. And from the gameplay that they've shown from TGS, the intro of the game starts out with the shipwreck and dealing with the Elder and so on. So I think you get beached here, you set up camp, you build a village, and go from there. But so we've also seen hunters interacting at the lower parts of Astera, so I think that this might be like maybe later in the game, or maybe this is just an additional area for the hub to take place. So like the whole village is your hub, which would be really cool.
I believe it is, but I heard like in certain things, but maybe this is kind of like maybe the high rank, G rank,
the distinctive tavern.
A distinctive tavern, I think, the one tavern you go to, or like maybe the higher up one, so maybe high rank, G rank. Like for instance, in 4U, when you got to the Elder Hall or whatever it's called, is kind of
right.
like maybe
In comparisons to being in the first version of the town or like tavern.
Exactly, yeah. Let's move on. So it's showing you these guys. This is definitely Guild Mom. This is, you can see it with the book there.
Also, from up there, it looks like you can see different biomes too. So that would be interesting if that was like later game after you've already opened up these pathways, like that you can where you can see where you're going. Because it looks like Wildspire is directly in front of them to the right, but then it's like kind of got that tree wooded to the left. So maybe that's ancient forest. Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
Okay, you can see quite a bit of hunters here. You got 1 hunter, 2 hunter, 3 hunter, 4 hunter, and 5 hunters.
16 hunter. Total.
6 hunter there, so, and of course got a little palicos as well. I'm guessing this is a guild mum because you've got a little quest board right here as well. Maybe behind that, you know, might be 2 of them. Maybe low rank, high rank, G rank sort of thing. Maybe going there. Don't know.
You and your friends at different levels, at different parts of the game, just playing, having fun.
Yeah. And honestly, the fact you get a little palico there with the little box there running through. And wrestling, man, I'm really happy about this because this thing's not been around since. Not been. Was it in
3U?
Yeah, 3U was the last time we saw it.
It was also in. It was in 4U.
Was it in 4U? Was it?
It was in the lower tavern, but I don't think it was in. I don't think it was in the Elder Hall tavern.
No, it wasn't. I remember because I've not been doing arm wrestling. Arm wrestling was just a good little, you know, a little warm up just to show who's boss. Like, we had like a little competition with me and my friends. Like whoever won the arm wrestle would pick the first quest. That was a good little.
We used to arm wrestle without touching our controllers to see if who the game chose to be the winner.
Oh right.
And they would just go back and forth for like a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
That's cool. Right, this is a really cool armor set. Like whatever this is, there's a rock piece here, and this is like classic.
I think that's like a cat, like moving something, carting something. Is it?
No, it's definitely something. Moving? It's like armor. Yeah, it's armor here. And what we got here, armor set wise, this ladybird set here. Look at this. It's a nice little set there. The hub looks really cool, really pretty. I love this.
What is that, like the Testo or Testa? It's like butterfly gear, and there's like a ladybug version of it. I think.
The Raytheon set here, Raytheon, bone armor, whatever this is here. Not sure what this one is because there's these two here, right here are new. These 2 old ones. I'm gonna get. It's like kind of like a revamp.
The one in the middle has been showcased before, just not at that angle though.
The Raytheon armor looks really good though. Because it is the best armor set, in my opinion. Because Rafflos.
See, those are the normal wing drakes.
Yeah, wing drakes, yeah. That's really cool though, because they kind of fly off and like you can see as they're going off and questing, you can just see along. There goes a Rafflos dude. And this time, the zip line thing. This is quite something. I really like this.
It's like the most. It's the level with the most verticality to it. So it seems like they didn't just rely only on like, oh, you always need to have your glider mantle to get around. Like, you got zip lines, you got pathway, you know, like
you got
tunnels.
Zip lines here. Like, it's quite cool as well. You got the. I'm assuming they instead of just like just a random zip line, it's like how would a zip line work? Of course, there's a lot of wind there, so they have a turbine for like, you know, just sort of let like quote you know, self-powered generator. You know, this spins, you know what
to the right of it, there's a wheel, it pulls.
Yeah, it's pulling it. I like how they added that. It's not just literally just, I don't know, just literally like a rope and it just goes up and down. It's like, how is the rope working? Well, this big windmill here is, you know, making it along. And now kind of the epic, like, fighting and showing off. Like,
there's a lot of really organic things going on in the game. Like, they put a lot of detail into everything, and it really shows.
That's the classic Uragan, you know, spin, like kind of rolls, chin smash. Yep, and that straight away when I saw that a second, I was like, "Yep, that's definitely Uragan," because that is a classic Uragan move. Little floof bat there. That's the Raytheon. That's the Raytheon armor here. And floof bat being floof bat. Oh yeah, he's showing off that you can use like terrain around as well. But he misses.
They've also made like. Yeah, they've also put like ample effort into showing the mechanics in all zones, so it's not just like one zone where you can knock down a rock and that's it. Like it seems like the environment is see that how that looks more like Coral Highlands in the background.
Yeah. They're definitely. It seems like it looks like they definitely. Oh, sorry, this here weapon here. This is like an Uragan weapon here. Look at this. It's like an Oregon greatsword. It's bony, tarry. Yeah, that looks like, in my opinion, like an Oregon weapon there, straight away.
Visually, I've had a little trouble differentiating between what's Nergiante and what's this new Radobaan, the new Oregon species, because they look very similar, and I thought, you know, maybe it was something like that was related to the Elder maybe storyline, but it's a crazy look. It's a crazy look.
But I do agree with, though, like Coral Highlands and the Rotten Val, they look like they're connected. This is definitely the bottom area of probably Coral Highlands. Look at it. It looks eerie and creepy, but it's still got that sort of like really sort of pretty sort of sea-like sort of coral look to it as well.
Yeah, they were discussing that at a TGS, and I mean, like, here's just yet another example of how the zones are meshing together.
Such a clever idea. I honestly love how all those zones are like kind of meshed together. Honestly, I love this monster. He's such a cool, like, creepy ass monster. What's this? Oh, this is the snake thing. Rathalos armor. Oh, I'm gonna get in that armor set and using it pretty much all the time. And this guy, this is something. This is because there's
we have no name on it.
No,
we don't
have
even
no
know
name on it. Like you see monsters kind of guarding this area, kind of like, you know, their territory. But these are the snake ones, like, you know, kind of the drone ones.
Yeah, those are the little Gillos or the Gorosus, the Dosu Gorosus.
There's a lot in this area, though. Maybe it's just adding sort of like the tension in the cutscene there to show us, like, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of them. Yep. Okay, 11 of them. And then of course. This is really cool. Whatever this is, kind of like looks like kind of like volcano-y, sort of like magma in this area.
I jokingly tweeted about Monster Hunter Orage, the anime, the little comic, the manga that happened forever ago, and there was a zombie dragon in that one, Gilkazu, I think. And I thought it would be funny if it was that, but I honestly don't know what the hell this thing is.
This claw here, man, just like sprouts out of the ground. It's like, yeah. I forget, just pins it, poor thing. And okay, can I see? Yeah, here's his claw here. Still, this thing's now dead. It's just limp now on the ground. Okay, there's 1, 2 things. There's the emblem for, like, you know, the ending credit. There's definitely 1, 2, maybe 3 heads.
See, going back to earlier, how I was saying, like, it would be cool if they brought some back of those Neopteron species, like the bug insect creatures. Like, if we had like I don't know, like a bug in the rot,
like kind of like a Hydra monster?
I feel like I see the one in the middle, but
this one here,
everything else that's moving doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's either wings or it's like extra limbs, or it could be more heads.
Well, that's the end of the trailer, really. I don't think we can really add any more to that. I think we pretty much covered everything in there. Rotten Vale, it looks amazing. And
BannedDino found all these names.
BannedDino, okay. Shout out to BannedDino.
Yeah, I got the names from him.
Good old BannedDino. He is pretty much like the lore guy of Monster Hunter on Twitter. So please give him a follow. I'll put his link in the description below. He is a sexy individual who does do some really good work for in the Monster Hunter community. So do give him a follow if you want to have some lore information as well, guys. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed this episode, do give it a like. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. I will be covering more Monster Hunter just content in general. And of course, Brother Virtue, he is a fellow Monster Hunter not YouTuber, he's a streamer. So,
like and subscribe.
I'll put his link below for his Twitch. He will be doing, of course, lots of Monster Hunter when WoW drops as well. Maybe
that beta, man.
As well. The beta is going to be massive. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, guys, and you guys have an awesome day. Okay, bye-bye.